High up in the mountains where the air was crisp and the skies were a brilliant blue, lay a hidden gem of a village. Surrounded by fields of barley that swayed gently in the breeze, this village was a place of peace and tranquility. The village was called Nandipur, a name passed down through generations, echoing the simplicity and beauty of its surroundings. Life in Nandipur was simple and followed the rhythm of the seasons. Villagers worked hard, tending to their crops and livestock, and celebrated the harvest with joy and gratitude. Every morning the sun would rise and bathe the fields in a golden light, casting long shadows and bringing warmth to the land. This was Maya's world, a world she knew like the back of her hand. She had grown up amidst the rolling hills and the whispering barley fields. Maya, with her bright eyes and a hunger to learn, was always curious about the world beyond her village. She spent hours reading the few books she could find, dreaming of far-off places and adventures. She often gazed at the mountains that surrounded Nandipur, wondering what lay beyond their towering peaks. Her dreams were filled with images of bustling cities, vast oceans, and endless possibilities. Maya wanted to learn new things, explore new places, and use her words to describe the world around her. She had a natural talent for storytelling and often entertained the village children with tales of her imagined adventures. She would sit by the river, writing in her journal, capturing the beauty of the landscape and the essence of village life. Her words painted vivid pictures that transported her readers to another world. But the traditions of Nandipur made it hard for her to follow her dreams. The village had strict customs that dictated the roles and responsibilities of its inhabitants, especially the women. For many years, girls in Nandipur were expected to follow a certain path. They were to learn the skills needed to run a household, marry young, and dedicate their lives to their families. They were to get married young, often to someone chosen by their parents, and spend their lives taking care of their husbands and children. Their days were filled with chores, from cooking and cleaning to tending to the animals in the garden. It was a life of hard work and little recognition. Education was seen as unnecessary for girls. Many believed that a woman's place was in the home, and that learning beyond basic literacy was a waste of time. Some even thought it was wrong for girls to aspire to more. The elders of the village often disapproved of Maya's ambitions, seeing them as a threat to their way of life. But Maya refused to accept this fate. She was determined to break free from the constraints of tradition and carve out a new path for herself. She knew that her dreams were worth fighting for, and she was ready to face any challenge that came her way. The village elders, who were deeply respected and believed in upholding their traditions, thought they were protecting their way of life. They had seen the world change around them, and with each change, they felt a piece of their identity slipping away. The elders believed that by maintaining their customs, they were preserving the essence of who they were as a community. They saw the outside world as a dangerous place that could weaken their values and customs. Stories of other villages losing their traditions to modern influences only strengthened their resolve. They feared that the allure of new ideas and ways of living would erode the foundation of their society, leading to a loss of their cultural heritage. They believed that girls were the heart of their homes, the ones who kept their traditions alive. Girls were taught from a young age to honor their heritage, to learn the skills and knowledge passed down through generations. They were seen as the keepers of the past, the ones who would ensure that the customs and values of the village endured. To them, education would only lead girls astray, filling their minds with dangerous ideas and making them long for a life different from the one they were born into. The elders worried that education would introduce concepts that conflicted with their traditional beliefs, causing the girls to question their roles and the expectations placed upon them. They feared that once the girls were exposed to the outside world, they would no longer be content with the lives they were expected to lead. These unwritten rules, passed down from generation to generation, were like an invisible cage around Maya. She felt the weight of these expectations every day, knowing that any desire to break free would be met with resistance. Maya's dreams of exploring the world beyond her village were stifled by the fear of disappointing her family and community. The invisible cage was not just a metaphor, it was a reality that shaped every aspect of her life, from the way she dressed to the way she thought about her future. The weight of these unwritten rules was a constant reminder of the delicate balance between tradition and change, and the struggle to find one's own path within the confines of cultural expectations. Even though there were many restrictions, Maya's spirit never broke. She lived in a world where girls were often told what they could and couldn't do, where their dreams were limited by societal norms. But Maya was different. She had a fire within her, a spark that refused to be extinguished by the constraints placed upon her. Every day she found new ways to keep that spark alive, to nurture it and let it grow. She watched her brothers go to school every day, their minds growing with each passing day. She saw the joy in their eyes as they learned new things, the excitement in their voices as they shared their knowledge. It was a world she longed to be a part of, a world that seemed just out of reach. But Maya was not one to give up easily. She believed that if she could not go to school, she would find other ways to learn. She listened closely to their stories, her imagination running wild with every new piece of information. She would sit with her brothers in the evenings, absorbing every word they said, every lesson they had learned. Her mind was a sponge, soaking up knowledge and ideas, turning them into dreams and aspirations. She would close her eyes and imagine herself in their place, sitting in a classroom, raising her hand to answer a question, feeling the thrill of understanding something new. The unfairness of it all burned inside her. Why was she denied this opportunity? Why was her desire to learn seen as a threat? These questions haunted her, fueling her determination to find a way to break free from the chains that bound her. She knew that education was the key to a better future, not just for herself, but for all the girls in her community. She dreamed of a world where girls could learn and grow, where their potential was not limited by their gender. Why was she denied this opportunity? Why was her desire to learn seen as a threat? These questions haunted her, fueling her determination to find a way to break free from the chains that bound her. She knew that education was the key to a better future, not just for herself but for all the girls in her community. She dreamed of a world where girls could learn and grow, where their potential was not limited by their gender. Why was her desire to learn seen as a threat? She couldn't understand why something so pure and natural was met with such resistance. The more she thought about it, the more determined she became. She realized that the fear of change was what held people back, and she was ready to challenge that fear. She was ready to stand up for her right to learn, to show the world that girls were just as capable and deserving of education as boys. A small seed of defiance began to grow in her heart. It started as a tiny flicker, but with each passing day, it grew stronger and brighter. She knew that she had to be the change she wanted to see in the world. She began to seek out knowledge in any way she could, reading books, asking questions, and learning from anyone who was willing to teach her. She was determined to prove that nothing could stop her from achieving her dreams. She was determined to find a way to learn, to break free from the chains of tradition. She knew it wouldn't be easy, but she was ready to face any challenge that came her way. With her unwavering spirit and unyielding determination, Maya set out on a journey to change not just her own life, but the lives of all the girls in her community. She was a beacon of hope, a symbol of resilience, and a testament to the power of education. And with each step she took, the spark in her eyes grew brighter, lighting the way for others to follow. Maya's chance came unexpectedly. A young teacher named Miss Shanti arrived in Nandipur, bringing with her a sense of hope and change. Miss Shanti believed that everyone, regardless of whether they were a boy or a girl, deserved an education. She saw the spark in Maya's eyes, the longing for knowledge. Secretly, Miss Shanti started teaching Maya, sharing her books and knowledge. These secret meetings became Maya's lifeline, fueling her determination. With each lesson, Maya felt a surge of hope. She was proving that traditions could be challenged, that change was possible. Learning in secret was just the beginning. Maya knew she couldn't hide forever. She longed for a life where her desire to learn wouldn't be seen as rebellious. With Miss Shanti's encouragement, Maya decided to talk to her parents. It was a difficult conversation. Her parents, bound by tradition, were hesitant. They were afraid of what the village elders would say, the whispers that would spread behind their backs. But Maya didn't give up. She spoke of her dreams, her desire to make them proud. Finally, Maya's parents agreed. They saw the fire in their daughter's eyes, the unwavering determination. They agreed to support her education, even if it meant facing the disapproval of the village. The journey was far from easy. Maya faced ridicule and resistance. Some villagers whispered behind her back, calling her too ambitious or saying that education wasn't suitable for a girl, but Maya refused to be deterred. With each obstacle, her resolve grew stronger. She knew that knowledge was her weapon, her shield against ignorance and prejudice. Years passed and Maya excelled in her studies. She became a beacon of hope for other girls in Nandipur, a living example of the power of courage and perseverance. She proved that traditions, while important, should not stand in the way of progress. After finishing her education, Maya returned to Nandipur, not as a submissive daughter, but as a strong and independent woman. She became a teacher, determined to share the gift of knowledge with others. She opened a school, welcoming both boys and girls. The impact of Maya's journey was profound. She became a role model, inspiring other girls to dream bigger and to challenge the norms. Parents, seeing Maya's success, began to question their own beliefs. The walls of tradition began to crumble, replaced by a newfound belief in the potential of every child. Maya's story became a beacon of hope, not just in Nandipur, but in countless other villages where girls were denied their right to education. Maya's story is a testament to the power of the human spirit, the unwavering strength that resides within each of us. It is a reminder that traditions, while important, should never overshadow our fundamental rights. We must all strive to be like Maya, to challenge the status quo, to fight for equality and justice. Let us break the chains of prejudice and discrimination, and create a world where every girl, every child, has the opportunity to reach their full potential.